Hey there guys, welcome to this channel. There is going to be another introduction, as I didn't know that I was going to be doing this at time of recording, but there are some sections missing just because I was constantly fighting the camera from overheating and it turning off. This is the first episode of this Ultra 4 chassis series. I'm gonna try to get videos out as consistently as I can. I can't make any guarantees, as obviously I'm gonna be having some work and money stuff, and I can't get parts as quickly as one would hope for a series like this, but I am going to be putting out at least some snippets here and there. This is probably going to be the longest video of the series, potentially, until it's actually running and driving. So, yeah, thank you and enjoy. Hey there guys, welcome to the channel. This is going to be the first video of this Ultra 4 chassis series. I can grab the camera real quick and show you. This is the project vehicle that I'm going to be working on in this particular episode. There are some other project vehicles hiding off and around the corners and off in the bushes, but this is going to be the first one. As you can see, I finally picked a wonderful day to work on stuff because it's raining. I'm sure you can hear the pitter-patter on the roof. To start with, we're going to be working on getting all of the rust cleaned off. I spent a little bit of time the other day trying to clean up this axle where I need to finish welding, because I'm going to be spending a lot of time buzzing in all of this stuff, making it its permanent home. I've got stuff on the front axle that needs to be buzzed in. I've got stuff on the chassis side here that needs to be buzzed in. I think down under here needs to be buzzed in as well. I've got the bracket itself needs to be finished welded on, and I've got the rear axle that needs to be buzzed on a little bit better. And obviously my upper links need to be welded through all the way. This project I've been working on for the better part of 3 years now. I originally made the mistake of thinking that I was going to be able to have something up and rolling for under $3,000, not taking into account that I'm very picky about some of the stuff I put on there, and I'm very picky with the way that I like to do my stuff. If I would have gone the easy route and used leaf springs and just tried to get it to roll, used leaf springs and used some clapped out junkyard motor and clapped out junkyard transmission, I don't think it would have been as much of an issue. But unfortunately, I like to go big. So here we are 3 years down the road and still not rolling. But I have bits and pieces of my drivetrain here and there, and it's just a fun project. It's about the experience rather than the arrival. So let's get to it. Okay guys, I've got my wonderful Harbor Freight special generator here. Got to top her up on fuel, as this is my primary power source for my welder. Unfortunately, this garage isn't wired for 220, so that's the best I got. So for welders, I have another Harbor Freight special, the Vulcan Omni Pro 220. Absolutely love it. I would argue that this thing runs better than a Miller. I've ran Miller 212s, I've ran Miller 252s, I've ran a couple Lincoln machines. I really don't like Lincoln for wire feed. They just don't seem to work nice for me. But I absolutely love this machine. I would pick this for a starting welder
every single time, hands down. I also have another special treat here. This was my first welder I purchased. I got this when I think I was 16 or so, 16 or 17, when I was still a wee little lad. This is a TIG machine that I bought, that I got from Eastwood. This is one of the old TIG machines, and I have retrofitted it with the special cooling torch from HTP with all of their water cooling stuff. I absolutely love using this. I don't use it as much as I'd like, just because it's expensive. The argon tanks are a little pricey, but absolutely love this. I did all of my bracing plate and my trailing arm using that, using the TIG. Okay, now that I showed you my welders, I think I'm gonna get this guy fueled up, get it pulled out to its far, far away land, and run some extension cables for it. Okay guys, now that the generator is out in place and warming up, I'll go ahead and run out some extension cords while it continues to warm up. Okay, I got my big 240 volt extension cord ran out, and I do use twist locks. I think twist locks are an absolute necessity for extension cords, especially with stuff like welding, where you're running high current and you don't want it to disconnect while you're in the middle of doing something. Just like that, it's stuck. Main extension goes into my big black Mamba adapter extension. And then obviously I have the twist lock connection there, going from I'm trying to remember what size wire this is. Yeah, I have the twist lock going between my 4-wire 10-gauge cord to a big old honker 4-wire 6-gauge cord. You can see some of the writing right there. And then just going over to a normal NEMA. What is that? A NEMA 650R. Okay guys, so I got everything set up and ready to go. I've got the welder all hooked up, plugged in. Let me grab my ground clamp right here. Try to do this one-handed. It's a lot harder than most people admit. I'm going to go ahead and just pick an arbitrary spot on the chassis to... Actually, I guess I shouldn't say it's an arbitrary spot. I'm going to go ahead and pick a spot
that's on the same chunk of metal I'm welding. So in this case, right there will do nice and fine. Still part of this main piece, not pushing electric current through all the bearings or bearing surfaces. All is well. And of course I've got it isolated so that there shouldn't be any funny electrical currents happening if it ends up grounding out through the concrete. So let's get to it. Flip her on. And let's see. I want to run this nice and toasty. How far can this guy go? 24 volts? How far can this guy go? 400 inches per minute? Sure, let's do that. No, just kidding guys. We're gonna do one of my nice default settings, which is gonna be 252, and I want to say it was 19.4 volts, I believe. I'd have to double check that. But just a nice point of reference that I like to go off of for getting a feel, especially for thicker metal like this. I mean, this base plate is 3/8 and this mount is 1/4 inch. So I want to be able to cook it all the way in there, because this is going to be one of the forefronts of life and death for me. If this piece isn't welded on good enough and ends up shearing while I'm going quickly, I'm probably going to be having a really bad day. I mean, same with all of the other points in there that need to be welded through. Those points are all critical spots that separate life and death for me. So it's of the utmost importance to make sure that they're welded solid. So let me set this camera up in a halfway decent spot and get to welding. Well, they're not the prettiest welds in the world, but they should be able to hold. Good enough for me. Okay guys, I got the other side all welded up and I got some of the spot welds welded up as well. I'm gonna have to come back through them with the grinder and grind them down, but here they are. There's this side, and you can see I decided to skip out right there because there was already a previous weld, and then just tied right in and finished. But I'll take a grinder, make that nice and smooth, make it match in, make it mirror, and then here's this side, same thing, just more of them. Wonderful welder, and you can see that I had to bump it up just a touch, but it works wonderfully. Well guys, here we go. Here's the grinder, big 7-inch. Let's go at it. Nah, I'm just kidding. We're not going to use a big 7-inch for that. We're going to use the regular
4-inch, 5-inch grinder with a nice little flap wheel to get it nice and smooth and pretty. Okay guys, I got it all ground down, all nice and smooth.
You can see just a little bit of the grinder marks, but I'm not too terribly worried about that since most of this is going to be getting painted, if not all of it. So let's go ahead and move on to more wire wheeling. That way I can continue welding. Give the welder a nice little break and keep wire wheeling. Okay guys, so now that I got those top brackets welded on and those little holes filled in and ground back down, now to do the part that I've been dreading the most. I have to disconnect the front axle from the chassis so that I can roll it to get the best possible weld angle, because the number one thing of welding is to always be comfortable, and it's hard to be comfortable in a cramped space upside down. So now to watch me struggle to disconnect this axle from the chassis again. Okay guys, I'm sure you saw my wonderful struggles there, because I completely forgot that that bar isn't actually bolted in, it's just held in loosely. So here we are, and now to try to figure out how to position it. This is my fun. Hey guys, so just so you know, I had to turn down the video quality just because the GoPro overheated a little too often and it was going through batteries faster than a fat man with a bunch of ham and cheese sandwiches. So sorry for the slightly less video quality, but let's get back to it. Okay, here we go. I figured out how I'm going to prevent from the catastrophes that you guys saw in the previous clip. Obviously I just have some bolts loosely sitting in here, and when the axle flipped upside down they were falling out and my bar was falling off, and it was just loads of fun every which way. So hopefully duct tape will be good enough to hold this bar in place and prevent it from popping off on me again. So I should, in theory, be good to roll my axle all the way forward and put a jack stand so it contacts this mount, so I can weld the backside, and then potentially roll it back and put a jack stand back over here so I can weld this front edge. So let's get to it. Okay guys, so I managed to get this to sit without that bar flying off into oblivion. Now that I've got it lined up like this, I can take a wire wheel and clean up all of this back edge, make it ready to weld, and then fire everything back up and burn it in. So, here we go. Okay guys, now that I got the backside all wire wheeled and ready to go, I'm going to fire up the welder again and buzz it in.
Okay guys, I got the back side of that axle all welded up. Good to go. Now to hit up the front side of this axle.
And obviously I gotta work around this bar because I don't want to take it off, because my tires will flop from side to side. So most of it's welded through, and there's some work on it that I probably do want to finish off with the TIG. I don't know if you guys can see up in there, all of that stuff, but that'll probably be something I want to finish off with the TIG welder. But there's some nice brazing that I did forever ago. But let's take a quick little break, let the machine cool off, let the generator cool off, and get back to it.
Hey there guys, so things have cooled off again. I'm ready to get going. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to try a different position here, so let's just hope for the best. Okay guys, so I finally got the front side of that all welded up. Gonna give it a minute or two to cool off, and then I'm gonna finish off the sides of it. Once I do that, the front axle will be ready for the next step. Okay guys, so I got it all welded up now. She's pretty solid. I don't think she's gonna break off anytime soon. So here she is. We've got the sides all welded up, we got the front all welded up, all the way across. Got the other side welded up. Got the top mounts welded on. We've got the back side all welded up, and the bottom mounts all welded on. I think the front axle is pretty well done, pretty well taken care of. Hey there, guys, and that's the end of it. If you lasted this long, then thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm gonna be trying to get more videos out shortly, so stay tuned and see you guys later.